networking, I learned,
Oops, sorry.
excellent. We are recording. I love to hear that. So I learned a lot of things the hard way, which is by making horrible mistakes. And as an introvert, I find going out and meeting new people, or at least I used to find it really difficult. But I learned how, and I also learned a lot of wild stuff along the way. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. Now, I never got around to sharing this referral magnet introduction because it never seemed to me like it was that big of a deal, but I used it again and again. And it's not for leads groups as much as it is for networking groups. But it works extremely well. And I would say, even if you're in a leads group, you got to try it. So today, I want to talk to you about how to instantly attract referrals from a room full of complete strangers without pitching. So, pitching. I don't know what I'm talking about here. So as a lot of you know, I've designed a number of different style of networking introductions, and they're functional and they're effective, and I love them and I use them. But nothing has ever created a response the way this thing does. And it's not flashy like my rock star introduction. It's just wildly magnetic, and it creates what felt like a tidal wave of approval and goodwill and reputational awareness and referrals like no other introduction I've ever used. Now, full disclosure, this is not the only introduction you'll ever need, but it is one that you should never be without, and you are about to find out why. So, let me tell you a little bit about it, what you're going to learn today. I want to talk for a sec about what you should walk away with. And I promise this is information that you really need to know. I'm going to explain exactly why a lot of networking introductions don't always work, even if you've worked on them and they're great, why inviting to connect beats pitching your services. Also, how to get people to approach you when you're at a meeting. And I'm also going to answer any questions you might have. Plus, I'll tell you how to get your free bonus, and you're going to get a free copy of my new book, Quiet Networking in a Noisy World, plus some really cool tools, but more about that later. I want to get started right now telling you why a lot of introductions don't work. Or actually, we should say don't work as well as you would like. A lot of times people think that when they introduce themselves, things should just start popping and fizzing. Sometimes they do, but a lot of times they don't. And let me explain why not. The main reason is that your audience is tuning out, and it's not because of you. They're just not listening when you introduce yourself. And let me tell you a little bit about that. They're distracted for one reason or another, or they're barely paying attention during the introductions phase of the meeting because most introductions, let's be honest, are a little bit boring and a little bit repetitive. And if they think you're just going to pitch them and you're just going to say the same old boring thing, why should they care about listening to you? Or, and here's the thing that I've noticed a lot, Becky, maybe you've noticed this too. I think a lot of times people in the audience are thinking about how they're going to introduce themselves, so they're not really paying attention. Becky, do you think that's going on sometimes?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, and that's, see, I would hope that no one ever does that. I want you all to have introductions that you can just pull out of your back pocket and say it on the spur of the moment. But I know that's not reality for everybody. People are thinking about it. So the problem is when you're introducing yourself, people aren't listening because of inattention. It's not you. So most introductions give people zero reason to listen and zero reason to even care because, they've heard it before. There's no real reason for them to sit up and pay attention when you're talking. But my new introduction framework fixes that. So my new framework actually flips the script. It's not what people are expecting. So instead of selling, instead of pushing, instead of promoting, you identify the people who you can refer to and who can refer back to you. And you give them a clear, compelling reason to talk to you, to seek you out, to make your acquaintance at the meeting. It's a simple shift in focus. Stop selling and stop talking about yourself and start attracting their notice, their interest, their attention. So, how do we make this shift from selling to attracting? First, remember this thing. Introductions are not for explaining your work. They're not for giving a snapshot of your background or your education. Now, so introductions are for identifying and surfacing referral partners and giving the right piece and So this is what you get. Let me just give you a piece of advice, everybody here. Do not try to talk after you've just taken a heavy dose of cold medicine.
Oh no.
It doesn't end well. I'm just saying. Okay, so you want to give the right people a reason to connect and to seek you out. So let's talk about this a little bit. Now, I know a lot of us think, but I am networking so that I can get sales. Well, let's be honest. I'm out there going to these meetings because I want more business. I get it. But the way to get more business is not to look for prospects. Will you buy? Will you buy? Will you buy? That's even though it seems like that's what you should be doing, you'll burn through everybody in the entire city before you get enough buyers. What you're looking for are people who can send you referrals, people who they know who are looking for the services like for what you do. And this is actually based on math, science. If we look at the numbers, it's really a losing strategy. So a lot of studies show that when you're in a room, and let's say you are in a room full of your ideal clients, whoever it is, let's call it yoga moms. You're in a room of 100 yoga moms, and that's your target market. Only 3% of them are even close to being ready to talk about what you're, to talk about if they want to buy what you're selling. The rest of them, they've got lots of other reasons not to care and not to be interested. So if you're pitching to prospects, you're not really talking to the room, you're talking to a tiny fraction of the room, just a few people, and that's assuming everybody's already in your ideal client market. You just hope that people are listening, and they're really not. Why should they? However, but if you're looking for referral partners instead of prospects, you are very likely talking to about half the folks in the room. And you're not asking them to give you anything. You're not asking them to buy, to invest, to spend their money. You're inviting them to connect so you can give them something, which is some new business. So there are two strategies here. There are also two very different incomes. So if you look at the numbers, it makes the most sense to focus on referral partners. And that's what I love about leads groups. Now, Becky, I don't think told you about herself. And for those of you who don't know Becky, she is the co-owner of I Take the Lead, which is a leads group in several states. And they have regular leads meetings every week. And people are going there not to sell to other people in the group, although it happens. They're going there to have relationships with referral partners to send referrals back to them because that's what works. So now let's talk. How does this look? I want to give you the details of my referral magnet introduction here. I recommend that you use this introduction when you're speaking to a room full of strangers. This is what this is designed for. These people don't know you yet. They have no reason to listen to you. But your goal is very simple here to attract referral partners. You're not looking for prospects in a room full of randos because that is really difficult. They're probably not listening, as we already talked. Now, this works because most networking introductions, other people are going to be focusing on themselves, not the audience. And a lot of them sound like sales pitches or they sound really boring. And you don't want to be boring. You want to be fascinating. I mean, for those of you that I know in this room, you're already fascinating. And even more so when you use this model. Now, don't let all of these little teeny words scare you. It's a lot simpler than it looks. Okay, and as I mentioned before, this framework flips the script. Instead of selling, you're giving them a clear, compelling reason to talk to you. Now, again, I know it looks like a lot, but it's really very simple. And I'm just going to walk you through it step by step, make it super easy. And as a matter of fact, don't worry about taking notes today because I have a
Oh.
written framework.
Oh,
Becky,
okay.
okay,
Uh-oh. No, I just said, oh, okay. because
Okay,
I've been
good.
taking notes.
I know you're taking notes. So I wanted to let you know you don't have to worry about
Yeah.
taking notes because I've got this written framework that you can download today, and I'm going to give you the link in just a few minutes. It's
Oh,
just
very
really
cool.
short. So I'm going to have that big thing. So this is actually fairly short. So let's walk through this.
Okay.
Alrighty. So step one, the first thing you want to do is to get attention by interrupting the same old process and create a clean break between you and all the other introductions. And you can do this in a couple of ways. Either by standing up, and whenever you can, I would recommend that you stand up to introduce yourself. It just gives you more of a presence. And or ideally, you're going to stand up and you're going to raise your hand. This is a command the room move. And you don't have to, act like you're super powerful. You can just stand up. And what happens is that most people in the room went to public school. I think nuns did this too, though. And most people know that when someone stands up in front of the room and raises their hand, we need to be quiet and listen. That is something that's kind of hardwired into Americans. And this, everybody here is either American or networking in America. So that's why I feel confident saying this. Now, I know it's different in other cultures, but here, this is how we do. Someone stands in front of the room and raises the hands, we think, yes, ma'am. So we think that we should be listening. Next, you're going to pause very briefly. You want to pause as long as you can take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. You don't have to wait too long. You're not going to breathe more than 1 second, maybe 1.5 seconds if you've got really big lungs. But that's all you need to do. You stand up, you raise your hand, you take a breath, so you're in it 1.5 seconds, and then you're going to make eye contact with two people. Kind of sweep the room from left to right, right to left, whatever you want to do. You're getting ready to speak. Now, this is all happening in 2 seconds. You can take longer if you want. Sometimes I do, especially if the room's a little bit rowdy and I can feel people looking at me. If you just stand there not saying anything, just that in itself is a pattern interrupt and can get people's attention. So that is step one. You're going to stand up, raise your hand, take a deep breath, make a little bit of eye contact, and then, oh, actually, let me recap it here. So you got all these three things. You got the eye contact, the pause. Make eye contact is on there twice. It should say, sorry, up here,
Oh,
it should say raise hand, stand and raise hand.
oh, okay.
Sorry about that. Is breaks the pattern of what has been going on. And again, you've just got a couple of seconds. You're going to be cool, you're going to be calm, you're going to be collected, and you are going to own that room because you just magnetized attention. Now, I've talked about this with other types of introductions, but that's why it's so important here because this one you really want people to hear you when you're speaking. Okay, so then when you say something, when you open your mouth, you're not going to say your name. Oh no. Instead of talking about yourself, you're going to make it about them. You're going to do that by asking a room-wide question to engage the audience immediately. So here is the
Hmm.
exact wording. And the exact wording is who here specializes in working with, and then you're going to talk about your target market, but you're not going to say target market, obviously. Um,
Yeah.
you're going to say something like I would say, who here specializes in working with small businesses? Who here specializes in working with auto body shops? Who here specializes in working with insurance agents? Whatever it is, you're going to be super, super clear. Why are we doing this? Because questions activate attention. You stood up, you've kind of got people looking at you and listening, and then you're going to ask a question about specialization. And the reason you're going to use the word specializes is it triggers identity. And that's a really important thing to do. This is a simple question, but it does a huge amount of social heavy lifting in getting attention and helping people understand that you are speaking to them. So you have now activated their identity by naming a shared audience, a target market. Now, not everyone's going to be a fit, and that's a good thing. The right people will lean in. everybody else will either relax or pay attention out of pure curiosity because you've asked a question. Instead of, asking who wants to work with me, which is not the best question to start with, you have asked a question that has activated their identity. And the right people realize you're talking about them and now they're listening. Now, like I said, you're also going to get a little slop over other people besides the right people because people are going to be just fascinated. Like, who is she? Who is he? What in the world is he talking about? Okay. At this point, you turn recognition into action by inviting action with a conditional statement. It's an if-then command. If that's you, then we should talk. This is an invitation to connect, not a pitch. And the nice thing is when you've got people's attention and you've asked them this type of a question, when you use an if-then command, their brains are going to automatically go through that. Well, is that me? Then I guess we should talk. And I mean, I don't want to say it's manipulative because but it yeah, it's not really manipulative. It's just understanding how social interaction works. Is that okay? Is everybody good with that? Okay, good. So if that's you, then we should talk. So in just a few words, you have captured their attention, activated their identity, shown relevance with a shared market, invited them to connect, and prompted action. But you're not going to stop there. No, because you're something of a rock star, aren't you? Yeah. So, yeah, you admit it. I saw that, Heather. Thank you. Now, I don't see everybody. Dina, you're trying to be cool, but I know. I know. All right, so let's go on to the next one. In step three, you're going to create the referral loop by strengthening your argument with the word because and explaining explaining how and why the connection benefits them. Because my clients are also yoga moms and they often ask me for referrals. Now, I didn't put this in here because it's just too much information, but you can do a lot with your hands
Mhm.
in this whole thing. You remember at the beginning, you're going to raise your hand to get attention. Who here? At that point, you can also do like I'm talking to the whole room thing,
Mhm.
that sort of thing, if that makes sense. But then when you're talking about, and when you get to this one, the referral loop, you want to use the word because, absolutely, because it's a strengthening word, and people kind of comply with and accept the word because they do. But then you want to talk about your clients. You can touch your heart when you're talking about yourself.
Mhm.
That gives the impression, which is, I'm sure, 100% completely accurate, that you are honest and forthright and sincere. And if you're not that way, please don't touch your heart. I'm just saying, it's going to be sort of an honor system here. Okay, does this make sense to everybody?
Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, good. So that because adds clarity, credibility, motivation. It's actually, as I said before, one of the most persuasive words you can use. And referrals, the last word in this sentence, referrals are the reward, the carrot that you are dangling in front of people. We're not going to use a stick. We're just using a carrot here. So then you're going to clarify what you do. You're continuing to create this loop. And I recommend briefly kind of confirming the relevance. So instead of just going right into your elevator speech, you you kind of want to put a buffer there. And my favorite buffer is 5 words. So what I do is, then we're touching our heart again. So what I do is, and that way it's like we are trying to prove to them that we are worthy of their referrals and working with them. We're not trying to sell them. We are trying to make sure that they believe us. I think if that makes sense, it's a really nice thing to do. So you clarify what you do and end with your obviously short functional sentence, which should be your elevator speech. And this is exactly when and where you're going to use your elevator speech because your elevator speech is going to reinforce that shared market, as well as showing where you fit in the grand scheme of things. Now, remember, this is not a sales pitch, so you're going to keep it simple and you are not going to say, I help you. You're going to say, I help yoga moms, insurance agents, shoe stores, whatever it is. You're going to keep it simple, 18 words or so. And if you talk too much, they stop listening. Now, there is an exception to this rule, and I'm going to get to that later because I'm going to give you a full example of this. Okay, right now I'm just kind of walking you through process. Okay, so and then you want to direct the outcome. So tell the right people what to do next by using another if-then command. I realize I'm being real bossy about this, but let me tell you, and Lynn's laughing, you are, he says. You absolutely are. The particular words in this order work, and for a lot of reasons. So, yeah. Okay, you're going to direct the outcome with your if-then command structure. You're going to say, so if you're interested in getting referrals from me, then let me know. That's okay. Do you want money? Who's going to say no? Then you're going to say your name and your title and when you'd like them to connect, like today, tonight, whenever. Obviously, it should be in the moment, not next week. So let's do a quick recap. You have given everyone listening to you a good reason to talk to you, to approach you at this meeting. You have strengthened with because. You have clarified what you do with your elevator speech so they can connect the dots, why they might be useful to you as a referral partner, and you've directed the outcome by giving them a call to action, the invitation to connect. This gives people a real reason to talk to you. Okay, so let me tell you about what happened when I used this in introduction. I was actually stunned. Now, back in the olden days, uh, well, all of you who know me know I'm very introverted, and I'm a little bit scared, but I'm also kind of a, kamikaze sort of networker. I'll just go. And so I just went to some meetings, and I went to several meetings of the same type, and what they were association meetings. Now, I did go to some like chamber or business group meetings, and this worked really well. But what shocked me is when I went to a meeting of bookkeepers. It was an association of bookkeepers. And when I used this in this introduction, I was absolutely stunned. People paid attention to me, they approached me. Some people referred to me, whether or not we had even discussed referrals, and my reputation grew extremely fast. This is what happens to you when you use this introduction. People have a reason to talk to you. Conversations are going to start warmer. Networking feels easier. You haven't gotten up and talked about yourself. You've talked about them and what you have to offer and how you can offer them referrals and how you can be useful to their clients. It's amazing. So, before we get to your bonus and Q&A and a few other things, I want to go through this, how this sounds when you put it all together. Here's
Sure.
what I want you to take away from this presentation today. Instead of pitching to the 3% who may or may not even be present in the room, let's be honest, I encourage you to talk to the many, the most people in the room, and use your introduction to attract those people who can refer to you. Because endless referrals mean less work, less effort, more profit, more easily for you. Okay, so we'll get to that in a minute. Before I'm going to take a moment though to tell you about a little bit about my YouTube channel. I got a ton of videos. I'm so proud. I've had this channel for 6 months and I've got about 40 videos. At least three of them, if not more, have a lot to do with networking. And so you'll find me on YouTube at Veronica Noize. And I want to encourage you to watch these videos and you'll hear a lot of my mistakes, but you'll also hear a lot of the things that I did right that you can copy.
Yeah.
All right, so also let's talk about bonuses. So, as promised, you are getting a copy of my new book plus my Referral Magnet Introduction Framework cheat sheet. This is a little thing you can see right here. So, here's the book. And you're also getting over here my 7 useful networking tools. Now, here is the link, and it's all in lowercase. It's tiny.cc/ITTL bonus. All lowercase, all one word right there, if you can see that right there. Now, fair warning. This link is only good for 48 hours. On Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific, this offer is gone. So I would love it if you would download my book. It's a quick read. Um, as a matter of fact, I worked with a ghostwriter who happens to be in the room right now. Guy by the
Adam, right?
That's Adam. That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
yeah.
And he is a ruthless editor, but he did a great job, and I'm really thrilled.
Ruthless.
You should, editors need to be ruthless.
Well,
The
it was a
reason,
pleasure.
thank you. Okay, so anyway, here is the link again. So it's tiny.cc, ITTL, I take the lead bonus. It's up for 2 days, 48 hours. And if you like the book, and I think you will, please mention it on your socials. So Instagram, Facebook, whatever. So you don't have to go do something fancy, but one or two sentences saying how much you love it would really be appreciated. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to get to Q&A in just a couple of minutes. But first, what I do want to do is I want to walk you through what this introduction sounds like, because I know it sounds complicated. I had that big circle and we've gone through so many dang steps, but I want you to hear what it sounds like. And this is embarrassingly pretty much the exact thing that I said to a group of web designers, to a group of bookkeepers, to a bunch of insurance people. And I could not believe how many people approached me. It's the best icebreaker introduction I've ever used. And here's the weird thing. I almost don't know why. I did a lot of research to find out why, but anyway, I encourage you to do it. So I'm going to walk through it and then we're going to do some questions. Okay, everybody? So here as the example of exactly how the referral magnet introduction sounds. So we're going to go over the words, and it's just the words, and I'll do it with my words so you can hear how it sounds, but obviously you're going to have your own customization. So, who here specializes in working with small business owners? If that's you, we should talk because my clients are also small business owners and they often ask me for referrals to professionals like you, to bookkeepers, to insurance agents, to yoga moms, whatever it happens to be. So, what I do is help small businesses attract great clients that pay, stay, and refer. Now, okay, time out. This is an optional clarifying statement that works really well to further explain why your clients need referrals. Remember, you don't want to do a laundry list here. Just mention the one category that applies to the people in the room and what they do. And the place that I learned this was at an association of website designers. And since I said I was a marketing coach and I knew this because I had talked to a couple people before we introduced ourselves, they're like, "Well, aren't we in competition with you?" No, I don't do, yeah, and Lynn is nodding. That's right. I don't do websites. So I added this. I didn't use it every single time, but when it felt weird, I absolutely did. And so, and you just want to mention one category, not this laundry list. And so it would sound like this. But marketing strategy is my entire focus. So my clients often need help from professionals like you to build websites, to print marketing materials, to handle bookkeeping. But if you're talking to a general audience, you can actually just do the short version. But marketing strategy is my entire focus. So my clients often need help from professionals like you. A little open palm thing to the people. And that tells them that I might be able to refer to them even if we haven't discussed. This is the one I would use at like the chamber or at a business association. This worked really well. True. So then the next thing is you get to wrap it up with another if then. Remember, this is the second if then. The gentle suggestion, the call to action. So if you're interested in getting referrals from me, then let me know. This, at the very end, we're going to wrap up with a name. People don't even know who you are yet, but now they're listening. So you absolutely can say your name. And I like to mention my enthusiasm about meeting them today or tonight, whatever it happens to be. Because now, they're totally listening. They're going to hear you. They're more likely to remember your name. And even more likely if you are wearing a name tag high on your right shoulder. I'm just saying. So at the end of this is, I'm Ronnie Noize, the marketing coach, and I look forward to meeting you today. So see how simple and easy that just it just flows. It's easy. It's not fancy. It is just simple and clear, but there is nothing to distract people, and there's a lot for their brains to respond to, you can say. So that's my referral magnet introduction. It's so simple, yet carefully engineered. And I use this word very specifically, carefully engineered to capture attention, to elicit interest and desire for referrals, offer a compelling reason for taking immediate action. Talking to you about referrals, that would be because your goal here is to attract referral partners, those people who can send you referrals for years, not just prospects who are not ready to buy, who might be thinking about buying someday. You're talking to people who can send you business today. You want to attract people who are ready to refer, and this is how you do it, the referral magnet introduction, quickly, easily, and professionally. All right. So I imagine that there are some questions. Before we open the floor, let me just give you that link one more time. This is the download link, a copy of my book, the introduction. It's a book here, Quiet Networking, the Introduction Framework, and my 7 tools. As you can see, there's a lot of them over here.
Becky
I
just
also
copied it into the chat for everybody.
chat. Yeah.
Because Becky's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So, do we have any questions? I noticed there's some stuff going on in the chat, but I haven't looked at it.
Well, uh, Kevin and JR said they downloaded it, but Phil wanted to say he had to run off to a client meeting. He said, this was excellent. And he thanked you very much, Ronnie. So,
Yeah, I need to take a look at who's here so I can tell the people who didn't make it they blew it.
yeah, I know, really.
I told you to be on this call.
Yeah.
Who here specializes in old folks?
Being an old folk, that would be me.
That's Lynn and I.
Yeah. Who wants introductions to geezers?
Okay, so it looks really quiet out there to me. Anybody have a question?
Everybody's muted. So just
Yeah.
unmute yourself. Yeah.
Oh, I
Raise
did.
your hand.
Who is that?
I said we can raise their hand if they want.
Oh,
Go
yeah,
like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
We can unmute you.
Well, they're unmuting. I'm just saying that I've heard so much of what you've said before. This is putting things so differently. And it's immediately putting people at ease, and they're saying, I don't have to go worry about him selling me what he's doing. He wants to work with people to help his clients and help my clients. I mean, it's just a
Exactly.
completely different approach. Brilliant.
We have flipped the script here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Oh, Brian Burke raised his hand. So, Brian, did you?
Yeah, I don't really have a question. I just wanted
there
to
you go.
tell Ronnie this is the first time that I've engaged with you. I've known about you here in the Portland area, but I've never engaged with you. So thank you for investing the time, especially since you didn't feel well. And yeah, this is definitely a game changer. This is great. Networked for years, but totally a different approach to what I've been doing. So thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad to meet you. I'm glad you're here. Who else has a question?
I would just like to, add to that. It's like brilliant.
And Kevin doesn't say that lightly.
No, I don't.
He's never said it to me.
I've never heard him say that.
Well,
He usually says, please mute yourself, but that's
Lynn, I specialize in people that, have this delusion that the Huskies are a good team.
all right. So more questions.
Yeah.
I know there are some questions and people are thinking, I shouldn't ask because it's so obvious. Brian, hit me.
Yeah, great. So, what I would like to know a little bit more, if you have, stuff that you've produced on it, is how do you apply this at a large convention with like 5,000 people when you're an introvert, right? Because I mean, I've been in sales for 20 years, and for me, it's exhausting, but I feel like I get paid to be a certain character during this time. So like, but it's exhausting when I get back, right? And
Yeah.
and at my own time, like I don't really do much, and I'm kind of just stick to myself. It's just, how I've been until I get to know folks. So like I said, it's testing after like a 3-day event, right? And going around and trying to say and trying to talk and network and doing this stuff because you don't want to get in that robotic state. So like, I don't know if you have tips on that, or if you've written something on that on one of your
I
website
have.
and blogs.
I absolutely have. And I am going to tell you something, Brian. And I'm not trying to one up you, but I used to go to the San Diego Comic Con. And so, 70,000 people. And I had to introduce myself to people. And so I'm going to tell you what I did there. So there's when I had to stand up in one of the meetings. Of course, I had this introduction, but it was very specific for that time. But when I was just meeting people one on one, and this is a really handy thing because a lot of times when you're at some place, people don't know why you're approaching them, and they're like, "Who are you? And what do you want?" And you're creepy, and what
Story of my life.
and so I'm just gonna just wanted to share this one little introduction, and it's how to introduce yourself to anyone, anytime, for any reason. So if you are at a meeting, and if it's a meeting, it could be a networking meeting, or it could be an association meeting, a chamber meeting, or even like a convention where people are there because they're interested in a thing. What I used to do is if I would see someone standing around, I would make eye contact with someone very briefly and then look away and then look back and kind of nod at them. And if they nodded back, they didn't have to give me a big smile, just sort of acknowledgement. Then I would start moving toward them. And then if they looked okay, I would kind of move closer to them and I would get with about 5 feet away. And then I would say hi with my hand, hi. And then I would say, I don't think we've met. 2 hands out. I don't think we've met. And that's true. They can't argue with it, unless they can, but they usually don't. I don't think we've met. And then I would say, I'm Ronnie Noize, and you are? And it was amazing how many people respond to that. And they say, hi, I'm Bob Emser. Hi, Bob. Just wanted to say hi, let you know I saw you here. They say, "Oh, hi, I'm so and so." And then I would ask them something like, "So what brings you here?" And they'd be like, "Oh, well, I'm exhibiting, or I'm interested in seeing, the Marvel trailers, or I'm a big fan, or whatever." But all of a sudden, we have a reason to talk because I've had a very mellow, non-aggressive, non-confrontive sort of introduction. And
Mhm.
then the neat thing about this is, and the reason I'm telling you about this specific time, Brian, is that it was at the San Diego Comic Con, which, 70,000 people, 68,500 of which were guys. And here's some blonde chick introducing herself to them.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, who knows what they were thinking. But it's a way to introduce yourself in a way that's extremely professional and low key. And so nobody ever thought I was hitting on them. I was younger, by the way. So anyway, so that's what I just think that, as an introvert, that was how I met a lot of people. And then later I'm walking around and I would see them again and I would say, "Oh, hi, Bob. Hi, Tim. Hi, Brian." And people would be like, "How do you know everyone at San Diego?" And I just introduced myself to a few people. And they were also probably introverts, hanging out by
Hmm.
themselves. And it's not
Right.
like I walked up to a line to see Mark Hamill and introduced myself to everybody in that line. I did not. It was always people just kind of standing around by themselves.
So Patricia has a question. Patricia,
So, thank you, Ronnie. Great, great things like usual. Great education. And for me, I do have an ideal client. I don't have a lot of people I have a lot of clients, but I don't have a lot of people in the ideal client area that I am, I focus in on, and that's okay. It's fine. Um, but my challenge is introducing myself because what I really look for is mother daughters
Hmm.
especially teenagers, moms with teens. So I'm trying to figure out how to put that in with about teaching about skincare of like, using this to attract people in, because I'm having a hard time. I can think of tons of things for Rhea. I can think of tons of things for Lisa. I can think of everybody else, but for me.
And that is just always the way, isn't it? It's kind of like a dentist trying to give themselves a filling. It's really
Yeah.
difficult, even no matter how good you are, it's more difficult to do it on yourself. And so, for us to actually solve this issue right here would take too much time. So I'm just going to give you a suggestion, and that is think about what it is that would bring them together.
Okay.
And so, why is it they would, it's a mother and a daughter. Why would they both be interested at the same time? So, uh, so my mind's already trying to solve this problem, and I'm not gonna do it. It's gonna take us down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah. I'm thinking
yeah,
too.
you want to think about something. And one thing that you might consider is around an event. Now, if it were
Yeah.
me, I would talk about something like prom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just as a rando idea, just to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if they're yeah, because I understand about the skincare and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had a better answer off the top of my head.
That's fine.
Okay. Thanks, Patricia. I appreciate you.
Okay. Thanks, Ronnie. Thanks, Patricia. And Tim's got a question.
Tim,
Hey, okay,
hey.
Ronnie. Uh, this is a little off topic, but since I know you are very intentional about stuff, you mentioned having a name tag on your right shoulder. Is there a reason behind that? I mean, most of us put it on the left breast, right?
That's right, we do because we are right-handed. We're all like, yeah, I'm just going
Yeah.
to do this right here. However, how do you shake hands with your right hand? And so when you shake hands, unless you're super stiff, your left shoulder is going to go back and people aren't going to see your name tag. So
Okay.
when it's on your right shoulder, you're leading with your name. It makes it easier for people to see your name. And when they can see it, and then you say it, they'll remember your name better because their brain has picked up on it. So it's on your right shoulder. If you're shaking hands with your right hand, it needs to be on your right shoulder because now usually I used to wear my name tag when I did meetings like this. So you could see if I ever
Right.
demonstrated this. But just imagine, if there's a name tag here, you're not gonna be able to see it.
Yeah.
But when you have it right here on the
Uh,
right and you stick your hand out, then people will actually read your name as you say it. Very powerful way to help people remember your name. However, there's something I want to say, Tim. If you want to be called Tim and not Timothy, then your name tag should say Tim.
mhm.
And that's a problem when people like I use a nickname, Ronnie, instead of Veronica. And
Right.
I notice that people get confused when it says Veronica and I introduce myself as Ronnie. And they're like,
Yeah.
what? Like they can't hear it.
Yeah. Uh,
And Kevin, since you're going for older people, increase the font size. Big letters.
That's
Big
something that
name
we
tag.
talk about at Dale Carnegie all the time. It's like, hey, put it on the side that you're shaking your hand with,
Yep.
because
Yep.
they can see it. And when you say it, they can look at the spelling if they're not sure if they heard it right.
Right. Right.
So
yeah. Ronnie, that is simple but diabolical.
Our work here is done.
that's right.
Are there any other questions before we wrap it up?
Yeah. While we have Ronnie, we don't get to have her very often.
Cleon's got it.
I have a
Oh,
quick
Cleon.
question.
Oh, there's Cleon. Yeah.
Leon?
Ask away,
Hi.
Cleon.
Hey, Cleon.
So I haven't heard anything about this, and I'm just curious where you are with it or if you use it at all, and that is branding statement.
Branding statement. In terms of introductions, no, I just like a little bit of an elevator speech kind of what I do and who I do it for. But in terms of branding, I mean, I think that stuff is important. But this particular introduction that I've been talking about today, the referral magnet, this is mainly for groups of strangers. They don't need you branded yet. They see you. They're taking a lot of the stuff at face value. However, you bring up a very good point about branding. I think it does need to be integrated when you are going to meetings again and again. And that's why you might say, I'm the redheaded realtor, or I'm the, whatever. Branding, that repetition is extremely helpful in connecting you to that particular brand. Does that answer the question?
Okay, that's fine. That's what I want to know, because I utilize it for all kinds of stuff, and therefore I just was just curious. Since I hadn't heard it, I thought I'd just ask, is it still around or not?
Oh yeah, but the important thing also to remember, and this isn't you have just reminded me, and I thank you for this reminder, Cleon, because I want to tell everybody uh, the less information you can use in the referral magnet introduction, the better. And this is why we don't want it to be too long. We don't want to have too much information because the more you talk, the less they hear. Particularly in this introduction. Yeah, you can do the branding in different groups and different types of introductions. But so, yeah, just don't want people to hear that say like, well, Cleon said we should do branding. Yeah, I'll make this better.
Well, where I use it, just for your info, I many times use the name Ronnie Noize. And I say, as Ronnie Noize used to talk about, for the elevator pitch was 7 words.
Mhm.
And that always throws many people in a loop,
Mhm.
whether they're starting a business,
7 words.
or another opportunity, whatever it might be. And so I'm indicating you have to keep it short and sweet. That's the
Mhm.
purpose,
Yeah.
just to get it going. And of course, my background is I always look at it as to you got to have fun. So make it
Mhm.
fun. How do you get it across in a hurry? And I call it a branding statement that I can do this and then go on. So it melds into what you were talking about.
Mhm.
I'm looking for clients to do these, and this is so on. So they meld together, and it's just a different word that I use.
Mhm.
But I put it together, but it's a great way, and I get to throw out your name.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So Cleon is making me famous, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Okie doke. So looks like that's about it. Before we wrap it up, Becky, we still have a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
Can we hear from 5 people that haven't spoken yet today about what they're taking away from today's meeting?
sure.
Yeah, what's a
Everything. Bye, Ronnie.
Kevin? Okay, thank you.
I got to run. So I just
Yeah.
want to say that was awesome. It was totally worth my time, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you,
Thanks,
Kevin.
Kevin. Glad you were here.
Good to see you.
So, Veronica with a C, do you have anything you want to share?
Thinking about well, I work out of an office and we always prefer people coming into the office to come talk to us, and just about how I can definitely incorporate the like waving part. We have a secure office here, and so they're glass doors, but they're locked, and so we have to come out, and it's the perfect opportunity to do the hand raise. I didn't even ever think about that. We need to look away just to kind of say, hey, I'm a person that you talk to on the phone, put a face to a name, and then just about how powerful does that can be, and making sure that I am doing that every time. And I never really thought about the connection of that with how we already used with, and how powerful that. I'm really excited to look back. Later this week is going to be more often.
Thank you.
Thanks, Veronica. Glad you were able to make it.
Yeah, I love it too.
Thanks. So who's next?
I'll go.
Oh, please, Heather.
Yeah, so I don't think Ronnie mentioned to you all that she's clearly sold her soul to the devil because she still looks like she's 30 years old. Which looks aren't everything, but you're just as sharp and delightful as ever. And it's just a pure joy to see you. So thank you. Um, I really loved your non-creepy way of meeting strangers
Yeah.
at a convention. And I did something similar and met one of my best clients that way. So, and I'm always the person who will talk to the kid in the lunchroom who doesn't have anybody to eat with, but people standing in corners at conventions and things frequently are just overjoyed to be approached in a non-aggressive. So this is such a wonderful way to do it. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
And it's wonderful to see you. So who else? If we still have a couple minutes, so we have.
I can go.
Yep. Oh, go ahead, David.
Yeah. Hi. I've been a part of the same networking group now for about 16 years. And this doesn't really apply to them. But I haven't really had a real focus on how to approach, like you said, strangers like this. The whole because statement makes a lot of sense to me. So I'm really appreciative of this meeting and, the things that you've shared. So thank you very much, Ronnie. I really do appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, David. It's absolutely my pleasure, and I'm glad you're taking that away.
Yeah.
Okay, so just one more. One
Hey,
last
Ronnie.
one. It'll be Bob.
Bob,
Hey, Bob.
how you doing? Good
I'm
to see
great.
you
How are
again.
you, Dina?
She's here.
Yep.
The big takeaway for me is I'm not necessarily looking for people to refer me or refer. I'm not referring them. I'm just looking for clients.
Mhm.
But the big takeaway for me is not saying my name at the beginning, but at the end.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. When they're listening.
Yeah.
So they're fascinated and they're like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Is he ever going to say his name? And then he's going to say, Bob Imser.
I wish he'd shut up about boat building.
And you won't.
No.
And you shouldn't. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
Ronnie,
Yes.
I hate to be one-upped by Bob. And so I'm gonna throw my voice in here because I am an extrovert, not an introvert, but I love learning from you. And one of the things I love is how you'll give us a simple template, but still encourage us to put our authentic voice to it. And yeah, I really appreciate both the streamline and also the space.
Thank you, Dina.
Absolutely.
It's so
Yeah.
good to see you. All right, Becky.
An
So I think that's
extrovert.
about it for today.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Ronnie. I really appreciate you and all you've done over the years. And thank you for the gifts. And I got my own little, well, actually I have two of them. Won't show. But anyway, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
And a reminder, a lot of
Rockstar.
people are doing YouTube channels. Hop over and subscribe. I just subscribed to Ronnie's YouTube channel. It helps.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you. And I'm going to send out a replay. I'll probably wait a couple days because the people that weren't on here don't get to have that. So I will be sending out the replay though.
Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Becky.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Ronnie, I'll send it to you sooner, but so anyway. Well, thank you everybody for being here. And thank you so much, Ronnie.
It's been my pleasure, Becky. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for inviting me. I was really excited to do this, and it's been a lot of fun. Good to see everybody.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you very
Awesome
much.
stuff as
Yeah.
usual.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you.